Right, morning to you all at home. Good morning to you two as well. Have you cleared up that coffee that you spilled just a couple of minutes ago on the side there?
He's had a good start
as you mean to go on. Yeah, I can just catch out the corner of my eye there, fiddling away. Good to have you anyway, Jody. We've got to start with that Casemiro news, I think, haven't we? I suppose it wasn't surprising. I suppose many people were expecting it, but do you think it is the right decision? Is now the right time for Manchester United to look forward, to look to their future in terms of their midfield?
Yeah, absolutely. If I'm being honest, I'm quite surprised that he stayed there to the end of his contract. For me, he's been a shadow of the player that we were lauding at Real Madrid. Been a great player, and he's had maybe sort of a couple of spells at Man United where he done okay. For me, it was early on in his career at Man United, and yeah, for me, it was inevitable. I suppose the only thing that you would say as a Man United fan is that you haven't really managed to get any money. Well, they're not going to get any money for him, which would have been nice considering the amount of wages that he's on. But for me, he's not performed to the levels at all at Man United.
It was a big deal, wasn't it? It was like £70 million back in 2022, and wages north of £300,000 a week. It's quite a lot. And
well, we thought it was big at the time, didn't we?
Yeah.
Like for his age,
changer.
70 million
for a 28-year-old.
Yeah, and then when you then hear the sort of wages that he was on, and James was right, but yeah, for me it was an astronomical size deal for someone of that age, and don't think he's really produced.
Well, the news comes at the same time that Manchester United are ready to open talks with Kobbie Mainoo over a new contract. So quite the turnaround for him, James, isn't it? It's unbelievable, really. I mean, just a few weeks ago, he looked surplus to requirements. He only got his first league start in January, and now talks to get a new contract. It's amazing.
It's amazing what happens when a manager leaves, doesn't it? And new people come in and with fresh eyes to look at it. Look, there's someone who's come through the academy at Manchester United. He's actually one of the less paid members of the Manchester United first team, so discussions are ongoing with his representatives about bringing him up to some parity with his teammates. And yeah, it didn't start under Ruben Amorim in the Premier League, and then Michael Carrick's come in on interim basis, starts him straight away, and actually he was terrific. He showed everybody what sort of player Kobbie Mainoo is, didn't he?
Well, for me, it's been scandalous the way he was treated under Amorim. I think what he done at such a young age for not just Man United but for England, I was a huge fan, and even going back to the contract situation, they clearly wanted him to sign a new one. I think at the beginning of the season, well, maybe at the back end of last season, there was talks going on. But I suppose if you're his representatives, whoever that is, the minute you've been treated like that by Amorim, you put the handbrake up and you put them on put that contract situation on the hold.
Do you think as a club as well at the time who were, putting all their eggs in the Ruben Amorim basket, they're looking and going, hold on a minute, we've got a player who's got 18 months left on his contract, but he's not in the first team reckoning. Maybe this isn't the time to offer him a contract, despite the fact he's come through the academy.
Well, yeah, I mean, like I said, I think they've been speaking for ages, and then all of a sudden it gets put on hold, whether that's because the club's backing the manager, but you do need to realise as well that football is a business, and when you are running a football club, whether it be sporting directors or people who are the money men, you've got to protect your assets. So, I mean, I'm sure that they're quite pleased that Kobbie Mainoo's been put in straight away, because it will give them a better chance of getting him over the line with a contract. And I'm pleased to see it, to be honest, because I like seeing young English players coming through, and I think he comes under that bracket as one of the top ones we have.
Yeah, it's amazing, really. Just in one game, he seems to have just reaffirmed his value incredibly, and it's almost like, right, he's locked down his midfield position, but then who's going to play alongside him? So now the focus turns to, probably in the summer, really, rather than in January, who they can bring in. And there are three obvious options we've all been talking about: Anderson, Baleba and Wharton. Now, you've had a quick look at those three and their numbers this season. They're not all exactly the same, are they, in terms of midfield?
Look, you can determine numbers in different ways, but we're going to have a look at them now on the screen. You'll just see some comparison between the three right now, and you see, look, Anderson's played a lot this season. The difference in successful passes is huge, actually. But Anderson's stats just match up so heavily. Carlos Baleba hasn't had a great season. It's, I think, pretty fair and obvious for everybody to see. He was fantastic last season, struggled a little bit this season. And remember, there was talk in the summer about a link of Manchester United interested in Carlos Baleba. Adam Wharton's an interesting one. Crystal Palace remain resolute that he's one for the future for them. They want to build the team around him. But Steve Parish has also spoken recently about the fact he knows he's an ambitious young player, and eventually at some point he'll want to play Champions League football. But he has a long contract at Crystal Palace. Anderson's got a long contract. Carlos Baleba's tied down at Brighton. Whichever one you pick, it's going to cost a lot of money in the summer.
Who's going to be the cheapest, do you think, of those three?
For me, I would say the cheapest probably, I think you'd be able to get Adam Wharton for cheaper than the other two. I think because of what happened with Moises Caicedo at Brighton and the value they put on him, and obviously the amount of money they recruit from Chelsea for that, I think they'll look at Carlos Baleba and go, well, hold on a minute, we see you as potentially being as good as Moises Caicedo, so we won't accept anything below, say, 100 million. Elliot Anderson, for me, has been terrific. For me, he's the standout option for Manchester United as a defensive midfielder. We've not just seen his impact at Nottingham Forest, we've seen his impact at England. And you mentioned about Kobbie Mainoo and the fact he was starting in that central midfield role before. Elliot Anderson's come in, perhaps surprising at the start when he came in. He hasn't put a foot wrong. He's been excellent, and he's been able to unleash Declan Rice further forward. For me, it's Elliot Anderson. I think he's probably in the middle of Wharton and Baleba in terms of how much he'll cost.
Yeah. Do you agree with that? If you take the cost out of it, say they all cost the same, which of those three would you pick to play alongside Kobbie Mainoo in the midfield?
And chippy chips, etc.
Yep.
The Chelsea fans aren't going to like that story, are they?
They're not. I don't think Liam Rosenior's going to like that either, to be honest. And he's had his injury problems, but he's the main player. He's the best player at Chelsea, let's be honest. When he's on form, he's the best player. But Manchester United are on the up, shall we say. And yes, they've got an interim manager at the moment in Michael Carrick. Who knows where that's going to go? Who knows who's the manager's going to be? Can't see that happening this January, to be honest. There's an awful lot of money, again, if they can get that done this January. But that may be one for the future. You know what Chelsea's model is like. They buy the young players and then sell them on for a lot of profit. Well, he's still only 23, Cole Palmer, by the way. He seems like he's been around for ages, but still only 23. So I can see this one rumbling on till the summer, for sure.
Pivotal to Chelsea, though, isn't he, in their future? And Rosenior, if he's to be there for anywhere near the length of his contract, is going to want to keep hold of Cole Palmer. Yesterday afternoon, that Jean-Philippe Mateta wants to leave Crystal Palace this month. Darren Ambrose, this is a football club very, very close to your heart, one you know very well, and it looks like another Palace star wants out.
Yeah, and I was speaking about this last night. I think he's been ill-advised by whoever is advising him. I'm led to believe he hasn't or didn't have an agent, whether that's changed or not. But I think he's trying to take advantage of